let me tell you what the Supreme Court has categorically stated.
Yes.
Is that not only was the policy illegal, so were the procedures. Everything was wrong. And what the Supreme Court has done, I think, is done. It's a historic judgment, because what it has tried to do, it has exposed that corrupt nexus between business and politics. And that is really the great significance of this judgment.
Hold on, Mahel wants to respond.
By the minister.
No, hold on.
The minister.
No,
have to say
okay.
By the minister.
Okay, hold on. Mahel Jethmalani respond. This argument that the Congress is making, that it's the minister who was responsible for the implementation of the policy. The government can't be held responsible. The entire cabinet can't be held responsible for what Mr. Raja did.
Listen, Rajdeep, if you read the judgment, the judgment has found everything, the policy, its implementation, the spectrum allocation. It has castigated every aspect of what was done.
Yes.
It is true that it did not name any individuals, but that is no consolation for the Congress, because the court was concerned in the legality and in the implementation of a given policy, and whether the resultant allotment of licenses was valid or not. That's all was concerned with.
Right.
Who is therefore responsible? Now, if a policy is illegal, what has to be found out, and that's the job of the criminal court, is who all are responsible for this faulty implementation. Raja, clearly, the most obvious aspect is advancing the cut-off date to 25th September.
Right.
But did not the government, as late as 2009, through its top law officer, the Attorney General, Mr. Ghulam Mahanvati, defend that cut-off in the Sham Telecom case, which was rejected unceremoniously by the Supreme Court and which has reference in the present Supreme Court decision? The government continued to defend the first-come, the policy and the advancing of the cut-off date in 2009.
Okay.
The most obviously illegal aspect was defended by this government in 2009, and that is the advancing of the cut-off date.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar, do you believe that the government has a leg to stand on when they say that it's Mr. Raja who was responsible for the faulty implementation of the policy? How can the finance minister and the prime minister be held responsible for that?
You know, the strange thing about that argument, Rajdeep, is that it makes it puts forth a postulation that there are no systems of checks and balances in the government, and if there is a rogue minister, he can be a rogue minister that can cause loss of 1,76,000 crores to the exchequer, and you know, all of us will just stand around and watch it happen. That is not how governments are supposed to function.
How do you value this 1,76,000 crores?
No, whatever. I mean,
it is pending before the standing committee.
No, hold on.
Whatever it is.
There's a loss. There's a loss to the exchequer. 122 licenses have been cancelled today. There's a loss to the exchequer. Yes, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Yeah, my point is not so much the number as much as loss to the exchequer. I think there is any government is supposed to have a system of checks and balances.
Yes.
There are bureaucrats, there are cabinet secretaries, there are secretaries to governments of India, there are ministers, there are cabinets. There is no, I can't imagine a scenario that we will all believe that one minister and a rogue bureaucrat can hold the whole government and the nation to ransom and loot this kind of perpetuate this kind of fraud.
Right.
It's not conceivable to me. And let's assume for a minute that it is true that clearly we need to reinvent the way governments work, because this can happen tomorrow. It can happen when coalition governments are here to stay. And if the proposition is that every time there's a coalition government, a rogue minister can do what he wants, then God save us and God save this country.
I have Mr. Narayan Swamy, 1 minute. No, Mr. Narayan Swamy, isn't it better, sir? Isn't it better?
This is unwarranted.
Okay, Mr. Narayan Swamy, isn't it honest? Isn't it more honest? Mr. Narayan Swamy, 1 minute. Can't you be more honest and say, look, there were coalition pressures. Mr. Raja was an important member of a coalition partner whom we needed. Therefore, we turned a blind eye. In hindsight, we made a mistake. Why not say that? It's an honest way. Why not say that?
It is not like that. When it was known, when it was proved, when it was found that the minister himself has resigned. You know that
Mr. Narayan Swamy, Mr. Raja became a minister in 2009 again when the UPA was elected in the same telecom ministry, even though there was a spate of letters written and the Prime Minister was made aware of Mr. Raja's activities.
No, unless until it is prima facie proved we cannot take any action. You know that. And you know, we became minister. Thereafter, there was semblance.
Yes.
And thereafter, it was
Okay.
when it was there, the minister himself has resigned.
Paranjay-
And you know, now saying,
Yes.
because now saying that when the minister who has given the responsibility,
Yes.
he fails to perform his responsibility, the minister alone is responsible, not the whole cabinet. This is my point.
Okay, this is your point. And
One
Paranjay, respond one last time, because the Congress is going to stick to it that until Mr. Chidambaram is made a co-accused, you cannot blame Chidambaram for the actions of Mr. Raja.
All right.
If only he's made a co-accused, can you blame him?
Now, look at the timeline. Look at the facts. I'm just sticking to the facts. You arrive at your own interpretation. This scam is supposed to have taken place in January 2008. In May 2009, Mr. Raja becomes minister again. In October 2010, the CBI registers a first information report. In November 2010, Mr. Raja is kicking and screaming, has to put in his pay cut. 2 days later, the CAG comes with a report. And on the 2nd of February, it's exactly 1 year that Mr. Raja has been behind bars. That's a point. Let's look at some facts, and you arrive at your own conclusion. The 5 years that Mr. Karunanidhi was Chief Minister of DMK, there were 34 MLAs belonging to the Congress party who were responsible for him getting a majority in the State Assembly. There are 18 members of Parliament belonging to the DMK in the UPA coalition. Who needed whom the more? What are these compulsions of politics? Did Mr. Karunanidhi need Mr. Manmohan Singh? If Mr. Manmohan Singh also need Mr. Karunanidhi, if they both needed each other, then are they both not equally responsible?
Okay.
And why are you passing the blame on to Mr.
You
Raja?
know, before I end this segment, Mahesh Jethmalani, I know you've got to leave us. I'm going to ask you, is the BJP determined, therefore, that that after this Supreme Court judgment, you are going for the head of Mr. Chidambaram? Should you not be waiting to hear what the trial court says? You're a lawyer. There is no criminal culpability proven as yet. Just as you say that... yes, go ahead.
Just quickly, Rajdeep.
Yes.
As far as criminal culpability is concerned, that's the last straw. A government committed to moral standards in implementation of policy, and the Supreme Court judgment is replete about how far they fell short
BJP
of
talking about
constitutional
moral
obligations
standards.
regarding allocation. Yes, Mr. Narayan Swamy, don't interrupt me now. You may be a minister, but I have to have my say.
No, I'm
Yes.
not.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not interpreting.
Yeah.
The way in which he is telling
Yes.
the moral responsibility.
Hold on.
Moral
No,
responsibility.
let Mr.
Yediyurappa
Jethmalani
doesn't come.
complete.
It doesn't come Yediyurappa.
I'm entitled to make my argument. Don't make it unpalatable to you.
When it comes from Congress, it comes
I'm
there.
sorry, you please listen to me.
Yeah.
It's about time you listen to your critics.
Yes, speak, Mahesh Jethmalani, finish. Go ahead.
Very quickly, Rajdeep.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is that there's collective cabinet responsibility. This is a case in which the Supreme Court has now held
Yes.
that there was loss. In this very judgment, they've said by offloading those shares, there
Yes.
was a loss.
Yes.
The government lost revenue, as is clear from the offloading of shares to HSLR and to Uninor.
Yes.
That itself should make this government hang in shame, because that's the kind of revenue which this country and its poor people cannot afford to lose. It's thousands and thousands of crores.
Should you be waiting till the trial court
On that
judgment?
ground alone,
Should you be waiting till the trial
as a
court
lawyer,
judgment?
as a lawyer, I will wait for the trial court judgment. Since the finance minister, by a cabinet note, was responsible for the allocation of spectrum in tandem with the communication minister, Mr. Raja, they are both definitely responsible, at least for the allocation of spectrum and the loss that it's caused in this case.
Okay, Mahesh Jethmalani,
He should
appreciate
resign on moral grounds.
Appreciate your joining us. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Paranjoy Guha, Thakurta, Gopal Jain, lawyer who's joining us. Stay with us. Narayan Swamy, appreciate your joining us and giving us your Congress perspective, because in a moment, after the break, I'm going to look at the corporates. An important point also needs to be looked at the role of the corporates, not just the politicians. They too have much to answer for. As we head into the break, let's listen in to the Prime Minister's key advisor, Montek Singh Ahluwalia, Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission. He had spoken to Karan Thapar on Devil's Advocate and had come out in strong defense of the Prime Minister in the case. He had said that the idea that the Prime Minister knew everything that Mr. A. Raja was up to was wrong. Listen in, back in a moment.
The case that the Prime Minister knew or should have suspected that Raja was up to no good seems almost compelling. And the fact that the Prime Minister didn't intervene sounds and looks like either lack of vigilance or worse, negligence. How do you handle that impression? Has the PM lost the battle of perceptions?
Well, look, I think perceptions are changed by people looking at the facts, by having a fair debate, maybe by television looking at both sides of the thing. The limited point